In the previous chapter, we discussed about the five kingdom classification. And according to five kingdom classification, what were the five kingdoms? The five kingdoms were Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Okay. So out of this, we have already discussed Monera, Protista, and Fungi in our previous chapter. Today we'll discuss plant kingdom, that is Plantae. Okay. So this is the chapter 3. Now let me start with the changes in the plant kingdom classification. Now see, the plant kingdom, when the classification was made, initially, earlier, in the plant kingdom, what were present in the plant kingdom? Earlier, it included the fungi. It also included the Monera and also the Protista along with the plants. This is earlier classification. Okay, but what happened? You know that the fungi are saprophytes, so they cannot come under the plant kingdom. Then coming to Monera. So why the Monera were included in the plant kingdom? Because the cyanobacteria, which was known as blue-green algae. So it was an algae and having the chlorophyll pigments. That's why it was kept under plant kingdom. Okay, but this algae is no longer an algae. So this is no longer an algae. Okay, and that's why. So and it is a prokaryote. It is a prokaryote. And you know that all prokaryotes are included under Monera. So that's why they are kept under Monera. Okay. So now these two are cancelled. Fungi cannot be kept under plant kingdom. Monera cannot be included under plant kingdom. Now come to the Protista. The Protista, some of the protists may be included, those who are having chlorophyll pigments, as in case of Euglena. It is the connecting link between plants and animals. So because it has dual mode of nutrition, it is having chlorophyll pigment like plants, so they can undergo photosynthesis when light is present, but they also act as animals when light is absent. Okay, so we cannot say that all protists are included under this. So that's why protists were also studied under separate group. Okay, now come to the major groups. What are the major groups included in kingdom Plantae? So the Protista are unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, some unicellular eukaryotes are having chlorophyll pigments, and some algae which are unicellular, they also contain the chlorophyll pigment. So they can come under the plant kingdom. Okay. Now the major groups of प्लांटे. ओके, सो प्लांटे का मेजर ग्रुप्स क्या है? एल्गी, ब्रायोफाइट्स, टेरिडोफाइट्स, जिम्नोस्पर्म and angiosperm. Okay, so these are the major groups of plantae. So in this chapter, we'll discuss about the algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, now come to the evolution of classification system of a plant. Now how these plants are classified? Okay, we as I said that the major groups are algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm, but on what basis they were classified, and what is the evolution of this classification system? Earlier, on what basis the classification was made, and then later on what basis they were classified, so that we'll discuss now. So evolution of classification system. So here we are talking about the plant classification. Okay, so the first one is artificial classification system. Okay, so on what basis this system was classified? The basis of classification, the superficial morphological characters. Okay, superficial morphological characters means what? The characters which are observable. अब जो कैरेक्टर एक्सटर्नली ऑब्जर्वेबल है, देखो ऐसे कुछ कैरेक्टर होता है एक्सटर्नली प्रेजेंट होता है बट स्टिल एट ए ग्लांस हम जब कोई प्लांट को देखेंगे तो हमारे नजर में नहीं आता, लेकिन जो कैरेक्टर एक्सटर्नली प्रेजेंट है और हमको दिखाई देता है एट ए ग्लांस, तो हम उसको बोलेंगे सुपरफिशियल मॉर्फोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर्स. Okay, so what are those superficial morphological characters? Those characters were habit, then color, then number of leaves, then shape of leaves, and then the last one is floral character. Okay, so these are all visible characters. Coming to the habit means this plant what is its in which habitat it is living, it is growing, and what is its nutritional habit. Then coming to the color, whether it is green or multicolor. Okay, then number of leaves, how many leaves are present. Then shape of the leaves, whether the leaves margin is dented or it is plain. Then floral characters means the color of the flower, how many petals, how many sepals. So these are all superficial characters. Okay, so for example, this classification was given by this is very important, children. Classification by Carolus Linnaeus. I am writing only CARL. Carolus Carelessness. Okay, so this is one example of classification that is given by carelessness, but it has some limitations. Let us see what were the limitations. Very, very important, children. I am giving you point wise. Don't deviate anything. So whatever I am writing here, please note it down in your copy. Okay, so what are the limitations? It used, the first limitation is used only a few characters. That means the internal characters are not taken into consideration, and only superficial characters are taken into consideration. Okay, and because of which closely related plants were often separated. Okay, if you compare to the modern classification and this classification, you will see that there are two plants belongs to the same family, okay, or same division, but earlier they were not placed under the same division or same family. Okay. Now, what is the next limitation? The third limitation was equal importance given to the vegetative and reproductive character. Equal importance to vegetative and reproductive character. Okay, so let me tell you what are the vegetative characters. Right. Okay, so what are vegetative characters? Vegetative character means the stem, root, leaves, um, which do not take part in reproduction. No role in reproduction. Okay, and reproductive characters means they have a role in reproduction. Okay, but these vegetative characters, why it is the limitation? It is a limitation because the vegetative characters are influenced by environment. Okay, so how they are influenced by environment, let me tell you. You might have observed that when a plant is kept in dark, you will see that the leaf becomes yellowish. Okay, when there is scarcity of water, the leaf becomes flexible. Okay, so there is no rigidity in the leaves, so you cannot consider these vegetative characters for the classification because they are influenced by environment. This is the very important point. Okay, then comes your natural classification. Now, natural classification. Okay, so this natural classification was based on, it was based on natural affinities among the organism. Okay, so what are these natural affinities? So here multiple characters are considered. So these affinities are multiple. Multiple characters, similarity in multiple characters. So what are those multiple characters? The first one is external morphology. Okay. The next is internal anatomy. In previous case, internal anatomy was not considered. Internal structure, function, these were not considered. Then here one more thing is considered, that is embryology. How the development of the zygote into embryo, then how the embryo develops into the young one, that is considered. Okay. And then ultrastructure. Ultrastructure means the microscopic structure, means here the cell structure is considered. Cell structure is considered. And then phytochemistry. So what is phytochemistry? Ultrastructure means here the cell structure. Okay. Then phytochemistry means, phyto means plant and chemistry means the chemical molecules present or the chemical constituents present in the plant. So chemical constituents. Okay. So these are the characters taken into consideration in natural classification system. For example, the classification proposed by very very important children, George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. And Dalton Hooker. Okay. Now what are the advantages? Because here so many characters are taken into consideration, so it has one big advantage. So what is that advantage? It reflects the natural relationship more accurately. Because here we are considering so many characters. Okay, external morphology. Okay, external morphology may be influenced by the environment, but here we are not only considering the external morphology. Here we are considering so many things like internal anatomy, their structure, function, everything. Then embryology, their development. Then ultrastructure means cell structure. And phytochemistry. Phytochemistry means what are the structures present in the cells of the plant. Okay. And because of which the natural relationship was established more accurately, it can be studied more accurately. Then the next classification was a phylogenetic classification. Phylogenetic classification. So on what basis they were classified? Based on evolutionary relation. Phylogeny means evolutionary relationship. Okay. So this is phylogeny. Phylogeny means evolutionary relationship. Okay. Means during the course of evolution, whether they are evolved from a common ancestor or they are having different ancestor, and where from they are branched. So basing on this, the classification is made. Okay, so it assumes organisms in the same taxon. Taxon, I have already told you, taxon is the particular rank given to a organism, to an organism. ठीक है, share a common ancestor. Okay, suppose say I will take the amphibians. So all amphibians, whatever maybe, they may be tailed amphibians, they may be tailless amphibians. So all of them are having a common ancestor. So this is a kind of evolutionary relationship, and this is the most accepted, very very important, most accepted system. Okay, so which classification is the most accepted one? The phylogenetic classification is the most accepted one because it has following advantage. So it has the advantages are, it shows evolutionary history and reflects genetic relationship. Okay, so how it shows evolutionary history, it's okay because a taxon is having a common ancestor, but how it reflects the genetic relationship? These organisms of a single taxon, सपोज से आप ले लो कि एक जीनस के अंदर बहुत सारे स्पीसीज है ठीक है, इसका मतलब जितने सारे स्पीसीज है, ये सारे स्पीसीज का जो ancestor है, that is a common ancestor because these species are very closely related. So why they are closely related? Why they are having more similarities? Because their genetic material is more similar. So that's why it reflects the genetic relationship. Okay, now next is your modern tools used in taxonomy. अभी हम पढ़ेंगे modern tools used in taxonomy. So what are the tools used in the present day for classification? Okay, so what are the modern tools what we are taking? The first one is numerical taxonomy. Okay, so this numerical taxonomy uses all observable characters. बाहर से जितने कैरेक्टर दिखाई देते हैं सारे को ये कंसीडर करता है, एंड each character is assigned a number and a code. अगर हम ऑर्गेनिज्म का, हमने देखो मान लो जितने सारे ऑब्जर्वेबल कैरेक्टर है, हमने उसको सपोज वी हैव टेकन लेट अस टेक क्रोकोडाइल and lizard. Okay, just a minute. लिजर्ड। तो अभी हम क्या करेंगे, क्रोकोडाइल का जितने सारे ऑब्जर्वेबल फीचर है हम उसको नोट डाउन करेंगे। सपोज से हमने नोट डाउन किया 1A। 1A में हमने क्या लिखा, 4 limbs, okay, then 1B, limbs are small, okay, then C, they are crawlers, okay. So ये जो कैरेक्टर है हमने लिजार्ड में भी हम क्या करेंगे, वही 1A 1B 1C। अब देखो ये तीनों कैरेक्टर जो है लिजार्ड में और इसमें सिमिलर है, बट अभी हम देखेंगे कि बॉडी का साइज देखेंगे। तो बॉडी का साइज देखेंगे तो हम क्या करेंगे, 2A, ये हो गया आपका लोकोमोटरी ऑर्गन का। देन आ जाओ 2A में हम लिखेंगे बॉडी साइज स्मॉल बिग, ओके, लेकिन यहाँ क्या होगा 2A स्मॉल। 2B रफ सरफेस एंड 2B स्मूथ सरफेस, ओके। तो ऐसे नंबरिंग करते करते हम देखेंगे कि ये दोनों में कितना सिमिलरिटी। देखो अभी तक हमने जितना देखा इसमें मैक्सिमम सिमिलरिटीज है, ठीक है। सो उसका फूड हैबिट अगर देखोगे, तो उसका ये भी कार्निवोरस है, ये भी कार्निवोरस है, दोनों ही कार्निवोरस है, अगेन दैट इज ए सिमिलरिटी। सो ऐसे हमारा कोड दिया जाता है, नंबर दिया जाता है, एंड द organisms are related on the basis of the number of characters showing similarities, okay. Now what are the advantages of this system? The advantages are, it is computer based analysis. So suppose you have discovered a organism, आपने आज एक ऑर्गेनिज्म देखा, तो आपने सारे कैरेक्टर को नंबर एंड कोड दे दिया, उसको कंप्यूटर में सेव कर दिया, सो डाटाबेस आपका सेव हो गया। तो ऐसे लाखों ऑर्गेनिज्म को आप क्या करोगे, कंप्यूटर में आपने सेव कर दिया। अभी हम क्या करेंगे, एक ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप करेंगे जिससे कि आपका क्लोजली रिलेटेड स्पीसीज को एक ही ग्रुप में डाल देगा, okay. So it is so easier to analyze the similarities among the organisms, okay. And the next one is, since this is based on the computer based analysis, so hundreds of characters can be studied simultaneously, okay. And here, unlike your previous one, earlier one, here equal importance given to every character, means it is the importance is given to the vegetative character as well as reproductive character, okay. Then the next one is, so this one is your numerical taxonomy, okay. Now come to cytotaxonomy, okay. So these are the tools, हम क्या टूल्स ले रहे हैं क्लासिफिकेशन करने के लिए, ओके। बट मॉडर्न क्लासिफिकेशन इज फाइलोजेनेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन ओनली, बट ये हम जब तक सिमिलरिटीज नहीं देखेंगे, मे बी जेनेटिक सिमिलरिटीज, मे बी मॉर्फोलॉजिकल, मे बी वेजिटेटिव, मे बी रिप्रोडक्टिव, अगर ये सारे सिमिलरिटीज को हम गैदर नहीं करेंगे और सारे कैरेक्टर को अगर गैदर नहीं करेंगे तो हम उनमें जो इवोल्यूशनरी रिलेशनशिप है उसको हम एस्टेब्लिश नहीं कर पाएंगे. सो दीज आर द टूल्स, these are not methods of classification, these are the tools of classification. So here what are taken? Your cytological information. Okay, so because I have said you that the ultra structures are taken into consideration in phylogenetic classification. Okay, so under cytological information, what are the most important characters taken? That is the chromosome number, then chromosome structure, and chromosome behavior. ओके, सो क्रोमोसोम नंबर मीन्स आप जितने सारे ऑर्गेनिज्म आप देख रहे हो, जब उसका डाटा आप सेव कर रहे हो कंप्यूटर में, तो आप क्या करोगे, कितना क्रोमोसोम है सारे ऑर्गेनिज्म में, उसका जो डिप्लॉइड सेल है उसमें कितने क्रोमोसोम्स होते हैं. देन क्रोमोसोम स्ट्रक्चर, ये स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होता है, किसी किसी में आप देखोगे इट इज स्ट्रेट लाइक दिस, इन सम केसेस इट इज बेंट लाइक दिस. सो ये आपका क्रोमोसोम स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होता है. ठीक है. देन क्रोमोसोम बिहेवियर, क्रोमोसोम बिहेवियर क्या है, अभी देखो आपका क्रोमोसोम जब सेल डिवीजन होता है तो कभी इक्वेटोरियल प्लेस में रहते हैं, इक्वेटर में रहते हैं, कभी पोल में चले जाते हैं. ठीक है. कभी थ्रेड लाइक होते हैं, कभी आपका कंडेंस्ड बॉडी होते हैं. सो दीज आर द बिहेवियर्स ऑफ द क्रोमोसोम. सो ये क्रोमोसोम का बिहेवियर को भी नोट किया जाता है कि कौन सा कंडीशन में क्रोमोसोम का शेप, साइज, मूवमेंट कैसे होता है. ठीक है. देन हाउ दीज कैरेक्टर्स आर हेल्पफुल. सो दीज आर हेल्पफुल, its importance is that it helps in identifying evolutionary relationship. Okay, so I think up to this it is clear to you. Now come to the third tool, that is chemotaxonomy. chemotaxonomy. तो हमने देखो जब क्लासिफिकेशन, फाइलोजेनेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन था, हम उसमें देखे थे कि phytochemistry was taken into consideration. So here the chemical constituents of plant are taken into consideration for the classification. So here the chemical constituents of a plant. Okay, different types of protein, different types of carbohydrate. Like see, in plants the cell wall is made up of cellulose, but if you come to the fungi, then the cell wall is made up of chitin. So on this basis the plant can be categorized. Like coming to the pollen grains, it is made up of cellulose and pectin, and the outermost covering is made up of sporopollenin. That we will discuss in class 12th. क्लास 12th में हम पढ़ेंगे. तो ये जो डिफरेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स है और सेल के अंदर किसमें कौन सा प्रोटीन है, किसमें कौन सा कार्बोहाइड्रेट है, ये सब बेसिस बनता है क्लासिफिकेशन का. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम लेंगे अल्कालॉइड्स, then proteins, secondary metabolites, Secondary metabolites, what are the secondary metabolites? These are the chemical constituents whose role is unknown इन प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी में इनका रोल पता नहीं है. ये हम जब बायोमोलिक्यूल्स पढ़ेंगे तब इसके बारे में डिटेल्स में पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है. सो ये जो है आपका रेजिन, टैनिन, ये सब आप जानते हो, सुने हो. सो दिस कम्स अंडर द सेकेंडरी मेटाबोलाइट्स. ये जो रेजिन है, टैनिन है, गम है, ये हमारे काम में आता है, बट प्लांट के लिए कौन से काम में आता है ये पता नहीं है. ओके. एंड इट्स इम्पोर्टेंस इज it resolves taxonomic confusion. देखो बच्चों, ये बॉक्स में जो मैं लिख रही हूँ ना, दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि ये जो टूल हम ले रहे हैं, ये टूल क्लासिफिकेशन में किस पे हेल्प करता है. ठीक है. चलो अभी चलते हैं हमारा जो प्लांट ग्रुप्स में हम जाएंगे. सो ये हो गया आपका क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ प्लांट्स and different classification system, earlier modern classification system, and most accepted one is phylogenetic classification system. And these are the tools, the cytochemistry, numerical taxonomy, ये सारे हैं tools of taxonomy. Okay. Now let us come to the groups of plants. So what is the first group? What is the first plant group? The first plant group was algae. Okay. So now, what are algae? You all know, you all have studied it from class 6th. Okay. And you have also seen different types of algae. Okay. So what are their common features? Okay, or you can say how you can define a algae. So definition, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री की तरह ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि ये पूरा मेंटेन किया जाएगा, आपका सिस्टमेटिकली मेंटेन किया जाएगा. यू कैन चेंज द सीक्वेंस. ओके. सो दे आर, व्हाट आर algae? The algae are chlorophyll bearing simple thalloid autotrophic mostly aquatic. Okay. So I will explain you what are these characters. Just a minute, my battery is down. Okay. So now so algae are chlorophyll bearing, it is clear to you. They are simple. Okay. Thalloid means they are not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. Okay. क्योंकि ये हम प्लांट ग्रुप में पढ़ रहे हैं, प्लांट किंगडम में, तो ये आपका क्या है, दिस इसमें क्या होना चाहिए, रूट, स्टेम, लीफ जनरली हम कंसिडर कर लेते हैं, बट देयर बॉडी इज थैलोइड, मीन्स दे डोंट हैव रूट, स्टेम एंड लीफ. ओके. मेरा टैब का चार्ज खत्म होने जा रहा है, और जैसे ही चार्ज 0 हो जाएगा मेरा सेशन स्टॉप हो जाएगा. ओके. नाउ लेट अस कम टू द कॉमन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द algae. Okay, so body is thallus. Okay, and they are photosynthetic, found in fresh water, marine water, moist soil, वेट रॉक, ये हर जगह दिखाई देते हैं लेकिन एयर में दिखाई नहीं देते. ठीक है, वेट रॉक एंड ऑल्सो वुड सरफेस. Okay, now they have also special associations. Okay, that is algae plus what do they form? Lichen. Okay, and then they are also associated with the animals. So animal association, they may live on animal. Okay, so like living on the sloth bear. ओके, तो बच्चों मैं यहीं पे रख देती हूँ, मेरा चार्ज पूरा खत्म होने जा रहा है. नेक्स्ट हम पढ़ेंगे फॉर्म्स ऑफ एल्गी हम पढ़ेंगे, तो मैं यहीं पे अपने सेशन को ख़त्म कर रही हूँ. ओके, सो फिर अगेन tomorrow I will take the next topic, that is forms of algae, then classification of algae, then economic importance of algae. Okay, till then, bye bye, thank you.